Today, I'm with two illustrious brothers who are chefs, restaurateurs, and have made numerous TV appearances for over the last 20 years. They are Chris and James Tanner, known as the Tanner Brothers. Welcome on board, Chris and James. This is really a most unusual time the industry has had to face. So tell me, what's been going on with you boys?
Right. I mean, where do we start? Yes, of course, as everyone knows, we're into our third lockdown.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's affected us as a business like everybody else. We're 22 years in now, and myself and Chris put a lot on the line all those years ago. And yeah, of course, you have your business roller coaster with recessions and everything else. But hey, who gives you the textbook on a global pandemic affecting you as a business? Not great times for everybody. We're consolidating ourselves. We're using the time up to improve our sites. We've been looking at recipe development. We're planning on doing little bits and bobs with the Kentish Hare with regards to maybe some takeouts and things like that. But yeah, we're sitting it out. We're trying to get through it. Obviously, without the furlough scheme in place, when you've got 50/60 staff members between two sites, yeah, we would have gone under months ago, Reza. Let's be honest, like everybody else, it's vast amount of money a month to run a site before you make your profits, and that's when you trade. But to have such limited trading, not just now in this lockdown, but over the course from when the pandemic started, it's been pretty brutal for all.
Yes, I'm with you there. I don't know how anyone's coping, because I've been talking to so many chefs at the moment and what they're having to endure. And it's almost like a Herculean sort of obstacle course for everyone in a sense. And it's not getting any better. And the industry has really been badly affected because there hasn't been much support in terms of, okay, the staff have got furlough, but you guys are not on furlough.
No.
You've got to just, you've got to find income and revenue to keep your businesses afloat. How are you coping with all that, actually?
It's challenging's an understatement, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, you've hit a great nail on the head there with, company directors. I mean, it's just, I mean, you forever balance in the books. Yeah. This is just personified. Times 10. You every penny is accountable for. We like we said, we didn't open the Barbican Kitchen for takeout because it's a shared building. We understand it works for other people, but we've got to look at it commercially, and this year is purely about survival.
Yeah.
And it's been incredibly tough. It's obviously been hard for us, and also obviously for the staff. And we're like James said, I think we're nudging about, I think it's about 60, James, isn't it, staff wise, between the two sites. So we've kept in touch with all the staff as well. Obviously they're feeling it as well. I think the advantage for us obviously is we've always got each other to bounce off.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's incredibly lonely at the top. And what support is there for that person?
Absolutely. And that has been the big issue, actually, because there isn't support for the people at the top, because they've got the huge responsibilities with just trying to keep everything afloat, trying to keep their businesses going in a sense. And also you've got to think of other ways of generating income and trying to get some sort of revenues in a sense, because how are you going to operate even though you're closed? And yes, you're saying you're doing refurbs and whatever. This is an opportunity to do refurbishment, but you still got to find you've got to cover your overheads. There must be leases with the landlords and everything else. How are you coping with that, actually?
Yeah, I mean, it's just obviously having that great relationship, which we have got with, like, for example, like the Plymouth site. Yeah, that's a leasehold. The Kent site's a freehold site. Yeah. But like, as you said, you've still got ongoing bills every month on top. Yeah. So, people forget about that. You've still got to have your till connection ready for when you reopen. Your insurance is in place. your telephone line's still active because you don't want to lose your telephone number, you know, for those people that still do it the old school way and don't book online. But then we've still got our booking facilities as well. We still look at doing newsletters just to generate, keep that interest there so people don't forget about you. It's just trying to balance it with all of that. I mean, you know, I'll be completely straight with you. Plymouth Gin, our landlord's been really, really good throughout all of this with us. Without their support, I don't know if we would have got through with that particular site. But also, we're long term. We're 15 years in now at that site, you know. And like I said, we were going for 22 years before. Myself and Chris were in a different position because we put so much on the line and because we've been going for so long. To be honest, Reza, we didn't really have lots of debt, but we have now. This has just been a catalyst that's just been knock on. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, there's got to be a limit. No one can last forever, keep going like this. As Chris just mentioned then with the crew, you know, we're keeping in contact with them and everything, and they're on their 80% furlough, which, you know, you could say is great, and it is, and we need that support to continue. However, we really feel for the staff members because obviously it's not 100% of their wage, but also because we're in hospitality, as you're aware, we run a trunk. And each site has its allocated trunk master. Myself and Chris have nothing to do with that. And the trunk's really good because we offer a great product with great service, which is what we're always drumming into everybody that ever works with us for the last 22 years. But obviously that's completely gone. So the guys are really missing that as well. So, there's a massive pinch. But then there is for us because we don't get anything. Very, very careful budgeting. Yes, we're still spending a bit of money, not just on our ongoing bills, but like you've just said, them costs for refurb. We scour the internet. We look at buying bits that we need. We try to. It's a bit like doing an ordering, really. We try not to buy too much or too little, and we've been grafting hard in a different way. And then while this has all been going on as well, we've been liaising with our suppliers. Still, we've got a great relationship with these guys for 20 years. But obviously, you're hearing horrible stories of how much they're down because obviously they don't have income because the restaurants are shut, or what it is very, very minimal. And these are small artisan suppliers, some of them, and some of them are a larger scale. But it doesn't matter what scale you are, from what we're hearing, and obviously what we've seen, it's just impacted everyone dramatically.
Absolutely.
But we keep that relationship because we look at new products that are coming in. Obviously, we're very seasonal with our menus. So we're always working in advance. And so the first thing we did was, right, let's work on the reopening menus. The seasons are changing and it's what excites us as a team. This has gone on for so long now. You don't want to know how many menus we've written.
I can believe
we're putting them in the bin because we're changing it because we don't know when we're back.
You also teach, don't you? You sort of you're training other chefs in the areas too, don't you? You've been...
I mean, we're heavily involved with various colleges. We're patrons of BR6 restaurant in London, Bromley College. We've done a few questions and answers similar to this, really, with various colleges throughout it. Just to sort of inspire the kids, the next generation coming through. That's important for us. We need that. We've got a great team around us, don't get me wrong. I mean, some of them have been with us for 15 years. And it's not just one. I mean, we've got 90% of the staff at the Kentish Hare have been with us since day one, and that's coming up for 7 years in May already at that site. So it's important to actively. I mean, if you're a college student now, imagine this.
I know.
In this pandemic, and I think it's good to get the knowledge and the experience, and obviously that only comes with time. But if obviously they're exposed to it, they take that on board and use that accordingly.
And how do you think with the young generation who are coming through, what future do you think you think they have? Because if we have this pandemic going on for another 6 months or so, and there's no sort of solution in terms of when do these restaurants open, what advice have you got for them, really?
I think from doing our the online Zoom meetings that we've done with colleges, as Chris has just said, is just trying to keep them motivated and ourselves, to be honest. Obviously, in the press has been a lot about mental health for people, and I honestly, Reza, it's affecting all of us. It's affecting us all. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you're from, what your background is. This situation is a big, thumbs down on everybody. I just think try to remain positive, look to the future. Hospitality is never going to go away, and that's fantastic. But also, when people can go out more, when they can go out and socialise and mix, that fits into us is hospitality. Whether you're having whether we're just about to meet in a coffee shop and have a coffee, whether we're going to sit down and have a beautiful tasting menu in an elaborate restaurant, or whether we're at a street food counter. The good thing about our trade is there's so many different variations to it, but it does bring people together. Unfortunately, we're at a time now where we can't be together, but it can't go on forever. No, so, you've got to look to the future. Let's face it as well, and let's be honest, with our industry, we're very, very understaffed with future people coming into the industry. And it's not just over the last 12 months, it's been over more or less the last 10 years. So people that are coming in, we should embrace. We should motivate. We're very much hands-on in the kitchen still, because we want to be as well. We have head chefs and teams and everything else like that, but we love that one-on-one element. Embrace work experience, work with your local colleges like we do. When the opportunity comes up for work experience, we always grab it at both ends, because obviously we're always looking with, there's someone that's really keen. There might be a commis chef's job come up for them, or is there weekend work? Because that's how we started. We were washing pots when we were in our young teens, and everyone's got to start somewhere. There's a lot of enthusiasm, competition work. Online competitions now are happening a lot more, involving students, which is great. Cook-alongs, that kind of thing. But yeah, it is a case of sitting it out, but using your time, like we've been doing, researching products, research menus, but also for the younger guys, they can think about what kind of career they want to go into, what area of hospitality. We're very much from our past, before we went self-employed, we embraced global cuisine and global travel. So it's a big world out there. When we're allowed back on planes and we can go to other countries, I think that's going to take even longer after the UK settles down a bit, let's be honest. But forward plan. And keep yourself active, keep yourself motivated. I think, don't get me wrong, we're not decorators and by trade or work or in the building industry by trade. If anything, we found it gives you a focus, and it takes your mind off. It does take your mind off things and gives you a focus and keeps you active. It's all too easy to sit around on your couch at home, fire up your TV, or if you're young kids on the PlayStations or whatever it is they do, and just sit around and do nothing and be miserable. And it gets you in the head, and it doesn't matter where you're at, really. It's just because it's affected us all so much.
Of course, absolutely. And you're lucky, because you can bounce off with Chris, the brother. So it's sort of, you've got that sort of support, so you can sort of, you can talk about things much easier, because it's family and your family and all the rest of it. And that makes it easier. But then people who are on their own, it's massive responsibilities that they tend to have, because they can't see the wood from the trees. What sort of advice would you give them, for people who haven't got an outlet to talk to or something? How are they going to sort of cope, really?
I mean, Yeah, it's a good point. You know, we're in touch. We've spoken to friends that are in exec chef positions, maybe working for other people or whatever. Honestly, we've just tried to keep the conversation line going. You know, reach out to them, say hello if you haven't spoken to them for ages. I mean, I remember, you know, and he still does it now occasionally. Brian Turner will just randomly phone you just to see how you are. That's Brian. That shows you what Brian's like. But yeah, we've spoken, you know, to lots of different people, you know, that are feeling it, and it's the same. You know, it's the same thing. It's very frustrating. But if you can, you know, if you can be there for a bit of advice, and a bit of support, then that's a good thing.
I think things, you know. I know this is different because we're talking about it now, but we could be talking about anything. So, you know, if you've got, you can do it off your phone, you can do it off a laptop, of an iPad. Have that, you know, to see you now. I haven't seen you for years, Reza. Let's be honest. Right? But just that initial reaction with each other, conversation. We could be. I could talk to you about anything.
It's true.
I could talk to you about it. I could be talking now just about the weather, for example, or what I'm going to cook for tea tonight for the family, or I just think, you know, it is that conversation, and more so. I think that is very important to keep going. More so if you are on your own, and if you're living alone as well, big time. Is just keep that conversation flowing, because it's just better for your mental health. We do like online quizzes with the staff and stuff like that, and we choose our subject matter. There's been some weird ones over the weeks, I just think it's because if you're sat there, we laugh about it because you're like, my God, it's Saturday night, you'd be in the middle of a really busy service now with that buzz, and we're not. We're all sat on our couches at home on Zoom meetings, trying to guess different random subjects like James Bond films or TV adverts, just random stuff. But it makes you laugh, it makes you smile. Some people have a little drink along the way with it, whether, you know, and talk. One of our guys is really into wines, so you know, we have a little chat about that. What you're gonna have? You're gonna have a roast dinner tomorrow. What are you gonna have with it? That kind of thing.
You know, there's so many like classes online and stuff like that. And my partner owns a dance school, so I've done a few cook-alongs with the kids. And honestly, it really opened my eyes to it, because there was dads that had never been in a kitchen before that was standing there cooking with a daughter, or, you know, and you know, it on Zoom, it's difficult, isn't it? It's, you know, it's harder. It's quite challenging. You know, and you're trying to get the shot right or whatever. And I'm going, right, you know, put your oven. Well, we've got a gas oven, right? Okay, so you know, just little things like that. But you know, they loved it. Honestly, I mean, a couple. You know, I had to do 2 classes at one point because they couldn't get everybody on. You know, it was like 60 kids with. You know, and it was only I did like American pancakes, but now they still talk about that recipe, and you know, that's their thing on the Sunday. So it just goes to show how powerful it is. It's a powerful tool.